very dear friends this morning on my new show, my latest show, every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern, your best 365 ever. And why do I say that? Because most people wait until the beginning of the year to start their goals and to start their life and to start everything that they're going to be doing. And I'm like, we're going to start today. We're going to start right now. So I've got some very, very dear guests on today, Mr. Frank Crinite, affectionately known as the GOAT.
No, not
what
at
is that? And then of course my other very dear friend, Mr. Frank Lopes, and we are waiting on Mr. Lundy to join. So he might be celebrating Savannah's birthday right now, but I'm sure he's going to jump on anytime. So we got Marcus Stone, Michelle McLean, John Rothens, Liza Borges, Anthony Santangelo, Cindy, and Heather. And I'm not even going to try to go into everybody right now that's going to be jumping on. You're not going to want to miss this, everybody. We are going to talk about how these two men, and as soon as Mr. Lundy joins, how can you have your best 365 ever starting today? And I think my 365, guys, started yesterday with this, actually 2 days ago, with this Facebook-a-thon that we did, that we all participated in, started by the hashtag Rise and Grind group, started by Mr. Lundy. I'm going to start with you, Frank Crinite. What impact did that have on you? But let me, hold on, before I say that, share this out. You guys, this is going to be some
Share.
Because we're going to be talking about how to have your best 365 ever. We're going to talk about how you can do more with people, serving people. So, all right, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Crinite. What did this mean to you to be involved in this? And what did you think you were getting into versus what you really got into?
So Glenn Lundy reached out to me, was it Wednesday or Thursday? And he's like, hey, listen, we're doing a 24-hour telethon. And I want to reach out to you. Can you hear me? Wanted to reach out to you and see if you do a half-hour block. I said, Glenn, whatever you need, man, I'll jump on for you. It's not a problem. He goes, great. We're combating sex trafficking, which I had no clue about. Absolutely.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem, man. I'm in. We'll figure it out. And I jumped on. I started doing some research. I started asking around to some people that, you know, at work and, you know, in my life. And they're like, yeah, sex trafficking. It's like, it's crazy. We just heard of some girl getting kidnapped, you know, down the road here, right in Delaware, which is, you know, a couple steps away from where I'm at. And I'm like, wow. And, you know, they think that she was, you know, taken and, you know, sold. They know she was taken and sold. I'm like, this is crazy. So I started doing some research and couldn't believe that it's the second largest, quickest growing crime in the world that, you know, people are getting taken, being stolen basically, and put into or sold into sex trafficking and, you know, slavery basically. So yeah, I was all in to help out no matter what it was.
Yeah. Okay. Frank Lopes, give us your perspective on the last couple of days.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of insight into this because at Grow Your Business for God's Sake, I was blessed to actually meet Lacey Toller and spend a little bit of time with her and her husband. So I had a little bit of a peek and an idea into what they were doing and, you know, what their cause was. But the one thing that I didn't know was the magnitude, you know, it was really like the magnitude of this. When she was telling me about this, I was more like, okay, like, yeah, we're rescuing people in like the movie, right? Like we're rescuing people in Europe and
that's what I thought.
Like Colombia or Peru or countries that we like never go to and never think of. And then after like about 3 minutes worth of research, I was pretty much done of like, oh my God, this is everywhere around us, you know, like totally like everywhere. So, you know, like I said, I had a little bit of perspective. So when Glenn Lundy sent over the text of, hey, I'm doing this Facebook Live-a-thon, blah, 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 blah. We got to get this, you know, we have to get this $100,000 for Rescue One. I just sent back yes, and I just put the phone down. Like that's how fast of a, there was no consideration. There was no like, oh, let me check my schedule and this type of stuff.
Right.
It was just like, let's do it. And that's it.
I think we all have each other's back, no matter what any one of us kind of asks, you know, for that's kind of in this, you know, as Lisa calls it, the tribe. You know, anybody ever asked me for anything that's, you know, that's in this tribe, in this pack, you know, I'm always more than happy to say yes, because I know they'd have my back 100%, right? So, you know, somebody would say yes and then just figure it out, right? I don't say, well, let me do some research and figured out, or I don't have time, right, is always used to be my number one excuse for things I didn't want to do, you know, and then try to figure it out. So I always just say yes, and then we'll figure it out. And that's what we did. And we were able to raise $100,000. It was crazy. I was watching the ticker go up, and it was like the first 5 hours, and we had like $57,000 raised. I'm like, man, this is going to happen. This is awesome. The power of social media, you know, just to get out there and put yourself out in front of your audience and grow your audience, and then, you know, have everybody respond to us was just, it's an amazing feeling to be able to help in that aspect, in that respect.
Well, if Lundy ever wakes up and jumps on,
I'm sure he's up.
I get to say that about him. Okay. I get to say that about him. But that being said, when I was also a speaker at Grow Your Business for God's Sake, and Frankie was there. And of course he kept the show going, and most amazing MC ever. And Frank Crinite, you'll have to make the next one. I know it's hard for you to get away on weekends, but being on the stage of that church and seeing this vision of Glenn's come true, come to light, come to fruition. And, you know, when I got up there and Frankie walked me out, and it was just really emotional. And I just said, Glenn, you were born for this. You were born for this. You know, and we had several hundred people there, but Frankie, do you not agree that we were not there? I don't think for that. We were there, I believe, to see Rescue One Global, to get the vision, to get to know each other, and to start to build that movement. It was so much bigger than all of us. That conference that was put on Glenn's heart by God himself, and I believe that he was born for this. This is his calling, and so it was just such an honor to be a part of it, and just such an honor to serve behind. And just to Frank Crinite's point, Glenn Lundy reached out to the 55 influencers that he knew that were above reproach, of great character, of people that'll jump in, that when we call, the answer is yes. It's just yes, you know? And I think that there's something to all of that. All right. So Frank Crinite, I'm going to go back to you. You know, you have daughters, and I'll tell you, so Adam Marburger gave probably, you know, I watched most of them. And I think Adam Marburger was so, you know, here he is, Mr. Jiu-Jitsu, and he's this tough guy. And like, I wouldn't want to mess with Adam in a dark alley. And he was so transparent about it. And he said, like, I've got 3 daughters. Like, I had no idea. And just to see all of you pull out your notes and your research. And I just saw the best in humanity yesterday. How do you feel differently now about your daughters and what you're going to teach your daughters? And are you afraid to broach the subject? Because I know your daughter's young. You have one or two.
My daughter Natalie is she's 8.5, going on 18.5. She is.
Is this a subject at 8.5 that you are comfortable having with her yet, or do you think, oh, I don't want to take away her innocence? But knowing who the victims are, they started about 8 years old.
Listen, if you don't have the conversation with your children about what real life is at a very young age, they're going to find out one way or the other, right? There is no hiding anything anymore. You can't bury what's going on in the world. So I want to have these conversations. I'm going to definitely have this conversation. I mean, we know we have the the stranger danger conversation and all that, but it needs to go more in depth than what it is. And as parents, we need to be vigilant in watching over our kids, where they're at all the time. I got my son a phone, 11 years old. And, I kind of fought it. I don't want him to have a phone. But you know what? I do want him to have a phone, because I want to be able to track him and find out where he's at all the time. Right. When he's with his friends, and, see what, he's actually into. So you have all these, parental blocks and parental, things on there that, anytime they go onto a certain website, you get notified. I mean, there's so many ways that, you can have a conversation with a child, and trust them, enough that they're going to, do the right thing, but also make sure that you're being a parent and not just a friend, you know what I mean, to your.
Except that these people are sneaky. Okay. They are sneaky. Yeah. I mean, their job is to abduct people, not just children. Liza Borges gave some amazing facts when she gave hers. And so did Natalie Phillips, in the fact that, this isn't just about sex trafficking. This is about labor trafficking.
Right.
And Natalie Phillips talked about, the oldest one, I think to date, was a 60-year-old man. So, so they're selling people into labor trafficking. I'm just like, I mean, it's over 40 million people.
Right.
Excuse me, 27 million people. Like, how does this happen? Worldwide. How are we not doing this? How are we missing it?
You can't protect everybody from everything all the time, but especially with your kids, you just have to educate them, right? You can't put your head in the sand and just bury your head and pretend that there's, problems out there that don't exist. So, sometimes you have to scare them into, not putting themselves in situations where, they are alone, or they're not with, their friends, or, they're out. But at the same time, I don't want to steal my children's, youth and innocence, and, make them feel like they can't go anywhere, by themselves, or do anything, by themselves, and not feel comfortable doing it. So, there's obviously a huge problem out there, but I also don't want to scare my kids to death to the fact that, they can't do anything by themselves. They lose their independence, but there's definitely a problem out there, and you have to be vigilant as parents to make sure that you're not letting your kids just run the streets at night, or be in places where this could happen, which is almost anywhere. You know what I mean?
It's anywhere. Frank,
almost anywhere. But
Frank Lopes, what do you think about that?
I think what Frank Crinite said is 100% right. But here's the thing: fear mongering does work in this type of aspect. It does work, and you have to literally scare the crap out of your kids and say, "Look, when you're in the store with me, or when you're out with your friends, you need to all stick together." Number one, and number two, you need to be aware of what's going on around you. You need to look at what's going on around you all the time. You can't just walk around like whatever, like everything's great. There are people out there all the time that if you don't pay attention or something bad could happen. One of your friends could disappear. You could be with your parent, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, there was somebody.
It is not like normal abduction, like in the movie. Well, in the movie Taken, which I think Marburger just did such a great job of explaining. If you have not seen it, but now, I mean, think about this bust. I just posted it 2 days ago, the day before we did it in Columbus. Is it Columbus, Ohio?
Columbus, Ohio. It was, yeah.
100 people, a pastor, an ER doctor. I mean, where are we safe? Where are our kids safe? I mean, they're going to church, and their pastor is a pedophile.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, there was, I believe Melissa Burrow played I think she played a video during her time. And one of the people talked about the fact that it was just a mom, right? It was like a mother and their daughter, and they were on the street, and one person came up, distracted the mom. The mom wasn't holding the kid's hand. Mm-hmm. Somebody else came from behind, swept up the kid, hand over the mouth, into a car, and gone. And then the person who was the distractor just turns around and walks away, and that's it. It's over. Like, it's split seconds. So that goes along with my point of, like, pay attention to what's going on around you. Things like that. That's the thing I think really that we could, where the fear mongering works to get into your child. And then the second part of it is that our children, I guess, are in this example, I think our kids are a little bit luckier maybe than others, because they see all of us working against this. They see all of us putting our time in. They observe us looking, like over the last weekend, going on Facebook and hitting share over and over again and looking for who's next. And that example will bring up conversations like it did in our household of, like, what are you doing? What's going on? Then you have to explain, well, we're all working together to help people that get kidnapped. And then, you have to be careful of the age group that you're talking about and where you're where you're placing that advice. And I'm not the person to be giving parental advice or anything like that, but I think all,
you got a 10-year-old at home.
It's got to start with a conversation. You nailed it. I mean, it just has to start with at least a conversation. You know what I mean? Yeah, they see what you're doing and everything.
So Marcus Stone says, this is going to be a tough combo with my daughter, but it's going to happen.
It's got to happen. Exactly.
It's got to happen. I think it's got to happen, right? And the thing is, now, look, when we were kids, our parents made sure that we stayed by them, like in the grocery store, right? Because you would hear that, that kids would get lost or run away or whatever. How many of us can remember being in the grocery store with our parents and hearing somebody get called, called over to the customer service desk because their kid is standing there, right? Because they lost each other or something.
Strawbridges and clothier back in the day, and I would go hide in the middle of those like round clothes racks.
Yeah, me too.
And I know they were looking for me, freaking out. And now I'm thinking, man, if my kids ever did that to me,
I would beat them.
I was like 5 or 6 years old. I would be, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine, But
Yeah.
there were things that I
They
did
would
when I
not
was
need
a
to worry about abduction. They would need to worry about child abuse, because I'm telling you, it's just like your heart just cannot take it in today's world. Okay, I want to switch gears a little bit. I guess the last thing I want to say about this is that we're still accepting donations. You know, Rescue One Global has about a $700,000 a year operating budget. So even the $400,000 or 420, whatever it was that that we were able to bring over the curb, that still does not cover their 1 year operating budget.
Right.
So if you missed any of that this weekend, if any of you out there were maybe under a rock, maybe you turned off your computer, whatever it may be, that you can still go to FB Live-a-thon. Michelle McLean, who is my great note taker, will you put it out there, the link that if for some reason, again, that you missed your opportunity to serve, to help, to change the world, if you want to still donate, we are still accepting donations on that. I want to talk about, I'm going to start with you, Frank Crinite. You know, everybody who's on this show has had incredible success. And that's what I think that's the reason people get up in the morning, is so that they can see people who've experienced incredible success, because success leaves clues. And so, Frank Crinite, I want to start with you. You know, you are dicing month in, month out with our good friend, and I know he's your good friend.
Ali is my buddy. I love him to death.
I know you do. Who could not love Ali? In fact, I'm going to be with Ali in Detroit. He and I talked the other day. I'm going to be with him on October 14th. And he's so excited. I'm going up for Automotive News' Leading Ladies. They're having the reunion of the top 100 women in automotive. So, and I'm going up, and so he's having me picked up at the airport. And he goes, well, Lisa, what are we going to do? And I said, sell cars. What do you think we're going to do, Ali? Yeah, I can't wait. So, anyways, that being said, success leaves clues. I want you to tell everybody who's watching this, why are you in the top 1%, top 0.5%, top 1/4%? Because it's basically just you and Ali dicing for the dollars every month, dicing for that number one spot. Why? How? What do you do? What's the difference? How can somebody take what you do, whether they're in the car business today or not? How can they take the Frank Crinite principles of success and apply them today to have the best year ever starting today?
So most top performers aren't in the car business, aren't actually in the car business. People look at me like I have 9 heads when I say I don't sell cars. I sell myself every single day. And I don't work for the name that's on the dealership. I mean, I know Piazza, they put up all the money, supply all the overhead, have employees here for me. I mean, to me, it is people like, when are you going to get your own dealership? Well, to me, it's Frank Crinite Honda, and my employers every day are the people that I'm selling cars to. That's the tangible product. But, I'm actually selling myself all day. I'm selling my service, and to be.
What sets your service aside, Frank? What makes you different than every other car salesman on planet Earth? Like, what makes you different?
Persistence. I am very persistent. I do not lose. Their positivity and persistence. So if you want to change your life quicker than you'll ever, I don't care what you do, self-help or, hit the gym or whatever. If you want to just absolutely change your life in the way that things come at you and the way that you handle everything, just be the most positive person in the room every single day. So my word is positivity. Every single day. Be annoyingly positive. Like, people that are negative will just start to part the sea from you. People say, hey, how you doing? I'll be like, man, another great day. Just when I think it can't get any better, it does. And you ask somebody else, how's your day going? It's okay. Well, you know what? Then that's your mindset all day. To me, my mindset is persistently positive all day, and good things are going to happen. You got to treat people the right way. That's the number one, right? It's to me, it's not how do I sell a car or how do I accomplish this. It's what would I want to do? What would I want to happen if I was in this person's situation? Now, can it always happen that way? No. Sometimes there's problems or challenges that you can't, fix 100%. But we always try. I always try to strive to that next level to say, if I was in Mrs. Smith's shoes right now, what would I want to happen? What would I need to happen? And that's the way that I do everything, right? So you actually have to genuinely care about the person, right? You actually have to genuinely care about the cause. you can't just say, hey, I'm going to go out and do charity work, and it's for, saving Batman coffee mugs, and you don't care about Batman coffee mugs.
Right.
It's not going to work, right? It's not going to care. It's not you're not going to personify, positivity towards that if you don't actually care about it. So to me, things that I'm successful at, it's because I care about them, because I want to succeed, that I'm very persistent in everything that I do. And I want to succeed because I care that the end result is what's best for the client, what's best for the person who ends up being your friend, your family. I spend more time talking about, the Eagles, our families, where we're going in life, my charity, charities we're doing all day, than I do selling cars to anybody. So,
and you're like, oh, but hey, by the way, you want a Honda?
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, by the way, here's your car. It's
yeah, hey, by the way, just
works out that way. It just works out that way. So, sales is you'd rather be a better marketer, right? And to be a better marketer nowadays, you need to have yourself out there. You need to be persistently out there. If somebody invites you on your show, yes, absolutely. If somebody invites you to a conference that you care about, yes, absolutely. If somebody invites you to help them out, do their charity, and you care about that person, or you care about that charity, yes, absolutely. Where, years ago, my thing would have been like, let me check my schedule, meaning I don't have enough time, meaning I don't care enough, to actually help you, right? So to me, I've taken I don't have enough time out of my repertoire. It's never said anymore. If it's important enough to me, or it's important enough to somebody I care about, I make the time. I'll figure it out. There's plenty of time in the day. All the stuff that I get accomplished every single day, I'm still kind of bored some days. So I know there's more time. I know there's more levels. I'm just going to push through those levels with persistence every single day.
Frank Lopes, you've got one of the greatest stories ever. The Comeback Kid, the power of 7 seconds, 7 minutes, 7 days, 7 hours, 7 months, 7 years. What do you do? How do you stay so positive all the time? How do you find the time? I mean, you're a busy guy. You're on an airplane with somebody sleeping next to you every time I'm on Facebook.
Every time.
You knock them out. Either you're the worst conversationalist ever, or you're the luckiest human on planet Earth, because every time I get on a plane, the one next to me wants to do that. I'm just like, please. No.
I'm going to go. Lisa, I'm going to go with number 2. I'm the luckiest person on the face of the earth. And that doesn't just go with having nice, quiet flights every single time that I fly. That's not just that. And to be honest, that's what fuels my positivity. Look, I walked around as a negative person for a really long time. Okay. And during that time of my life, it wasn't really like that good. Like a lot of good things weren't happening. I wasn't really like making a lot of money. My relationships weren't really like the best. I didn't have the best of friends around, because what you put out, it's true. I don't want to get all secret and everything right now, but what you put out is what comes back to you. And to be honest, then momentum catches on, and momentum will catch either in a positive way or it'll catch in a negative way. And for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, that the momentum that you catch from negativity, man, it's a lot stronger than the positive one. So you got to push the positive one out more and more and more. And then it just becomes natural habit. Like that's like my 7 seconds, my 7 seconds of reality. The first 7 seconds of your day should be filled, your brain should be filled with positivity. You should be filled with counting your blessings. If you've got to go all the way back to like the basics of blessings, like the fact that you're alive, just the fact that you're alive, if that's not lucky enough for all of us, for everyone who's watching, for the 3 of us that are on, I mean, like if that's not enough, I don't know what else you need. I don't know what else you need to motivate yourself besides the fact that like you're still here. And then the fact that you're able, that your body is able to still get up, walk around, because a lot of people are not. The fact that your mind is still aware and alert and still works, because a lot of people's minds do not. If I know that if I have those 3 things, anything else is possible.
It's funny.
I don't care what it is.
People come into my dealership and, their cars are totaled and, they're all upset and aggravated. I'm like, listen, is everybody okay? And they're like, yeah, everybody's okay, man. But I love that car. I almost had it paid off. And I'm like, listen, I've been doing this 20 years A, that's why you pay for your insurance every single month. You pay that premium. And B, not everybody's okay. Okay. When it comes to an accident, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I've had, you know, hey, Mr. Smith, and he was, you know, very healthy and vibrant and got in a pretty bad, you know, car accident and T-boned. And now he's in a wheelchair, you know, the rest of his life, you know, or, you know, somebody's, you know, hits their head really, really hard and they're not the same person. So, you know, to me, you're okay. You know, that's a blessing. You know, don't get aggravated, you know, what happened, you know, be, you know, blessed with what didn't happen. You know, sometimes is the way that you have to really think about things to be positive about it. So, you know, same thing. You got to count your blessings every day.
You do. And Frank Lopes, I absolutely love your posts because I always read them every time when I see them every day, and I'm like, you're right. And you know, I know at least for myself, you know, part of having your best 365 ever is it kind of gets into a culling process, right? And you know, and you have to choose because there's so many people that want to hang out, like with us, with anybody on this feed, right? And you have to choose. And so, you know, I made a decision a while back that I choose to hang out with people that want to serve authentically, serve other people who don't have any gain for themselves, and then great things happen to them, right? And there's so much to that because there are let's face it, guys, there's a lot of like what I would call opportunists in the world,
right?
You know, and they want to know Frank Crinite or Frank Lopes or Lisa Copeland or Michelle McLean or Adam Marburg or whoever's on this feed that I'm looking at. You know, they want to know us because they want something from us.
Listen, if I wasn't doing all these shows and I wasn't doing all the charity work that I was doing and I wasn't out in the community and, you know, I wanted to sacrifice other time, family time and other things, I could sell a lot more cars, right? So me,
wait a minute, Trinity, how could you really sell any more cars?
Come on. I only work between 4 and 5 days a week at the dealership, right? So, you know, if I really wanted to ramp it up and I really wanted to just, you know, but that's going to take from other aspects of my life. So, you know, some people, you know, I've had somebody say, man, you know, you're doing all this stuff. It must be getting you, you know, a lot more business and all that stuff. I'm like, man, that's not what it's about, right? That has zero to do what it's actually about. Sorry about that. I have my phone connected to the zero to do what it's actually about.
Yeah. No, I agree. And so I think that there's something to that. So when you talk about having your best 365 ever, you know, the power of 7, which is of course owned by Mr. Lopes, and I love it. You know, and I really want to challenge everybody out there. Who are the 7 people that if you regularly spend time with, that don't, number one, suck the life out of you. Number 2, you know, they're not always like looking for a back door to ask you for something. Number 3, they actually give to humanity and they're highly respected. You know, that power of 7s, Frank Lopes, speak to that power of that 7 tribe. Because I talk about 7s all the time now, but I always give you credit, my love. Always.
Right. I know you do. And look, I call it your crew of 7, but I don't care if you call it a crew, a tribe, a gang. It doesn't make a difference. The 7 people that you know, all right, the 7 people that you know that have your back. And that you would have their back at any given time. And look, it's not going to be 7 right away. It doesn't mean you have to go and find 7 people. You could be at a point in your life right now where you've got like 1. And that's okay. That's good. Take the 1.
Be a point in your life where you need one, where you need that one person who will tell you the truth, slap you in the face.
Absolutely.
I don't need any more people telling me attaboy or how great of a job that I'm doing. I need more people in my life, you know, or not. I really don't need more people in my life. I need people that are in my life to be more honest with me. You know, where, you know, do they see that I'm straying? Where do they see that I'm not being the person that I want to personify? Where is it that I can change and impact, you know, other people's lives, you know, better than what I'm doing right now, right? I have enough rah people in my life. Oh, great job. You're doing this, you're doing that. You know, those people are great. Love them. But they don't really help me. They don't do anything, you know, for me to actually better me, you know. So I tell people, if you really
so Frank, I'm going to stop you right there, Frank. What is it? What does that person look like? Because I think some people out here may need to hear that this morning. What does a person look like? Or what kind of friend or tribe member are they that you say make you better? Because I can tell you the man below you.
Well, I always tell everybody, you know, don't
on fire faster than any human.
I always tell everybody, listen, be careful with a question that you ask me because you might get the answer to it, right?
Let's do it.
I don't do passive aggressive very well. So, if you come at me with something, don't come at me with the passive aggressive, like, listen, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. I want you to be a part of it. This is your role, right? So people to me always come up and say, oh, I'd love to help out, with whatever you're doing, your charity or your work or, whatever. Well, that doesn't do anything for me. Walk up to me, tell me how you can actually help me out. What does your specific skill set do that can help me, right? I shouldn't have to find a role for you. Same thing. Don't ask me a question if you really don't want the answer, right? There's a lot of people that'll give you the answer that you want to hear. Oof. I don't want that answer. I want the answer that's actually, boom, wow, you know what? You're 100% right. I will respect you way more and bring you into my tribe, into my life more, when I find that person that actually does give me the answers that I need, not the answers all the time that I want, so when you find those people, they're very important people. Bring them in, keep them close to you, because they don't care about just being your friend. A lot of people want to, be hang-arounds or be friends when they see you.
All that,
right? They want to try to attach, their success to you, which is great. I understand that. It's no problem, right? We want to be around successful people. We all want to be around successful people. But at the same point, I don't need more, fans, more rah-rah. I need more real, so be totally real with me and I'll respect you more, even if it's something that I don't want to hear. And a lot of times that's what you need to hear to get through, to break through those levels of life, or else, that level of life is just going to be your threshold wherever you're at. Right. So I was talking about this the other day. We're doing the 75 hard. And, I was talking to my buddy PJ over across the pond over there. And, they were talking about pain. I said, listen, I actually like feeling the pain. I started doing 3 workouts instead of 2 workouts a day because I want to feel the pain. Because if I don't know what the pain feels like, I never know if I'm going to be able to get through that threshold, right? So I want to grow. And the only way to get through those thresholds is to actually feel what the pain is. Say, listen, it's not that bad, or you know what, it was really bad, but I got through it. And that gets you to the next level. It's the same way that somebody that's going to be 100% honest with you, it may hurt, right? It may hurt deep down. You might not agree with that person right away. You might get in an argument with that person. You might say, whatever, I'm kicking you out of my life because I didn't want to hear that. But if you go back and meditate and reflect and figure out what that person was really trying to tell you, a lot of times that was the right advice, right? And they're the people that you need in your life, not the rah-rahs, not the attaboys, not the you're doing a great job. I don't really need those people. I don't even hear that stuff anymore. It's just like,
oh, you're so great, whatever. And Frank Lopes is probably one of the best humans in the world at that. There are not a lot of people who will come at me at a level of almost uncomfort. But he's one, and he's in my crew of 7. And it's because, but you have to be careful who everybody listen to this, listen to what I'm telling you, be careful who you take counsel from. Okay. Because everybody, there's a lot of people out there that will give you an opinion. They'll give you their advice and they'll screw you up. I mean, you've got to hone in, and Lopes, I'll let you speak to this in a second, but you've got to hone in on who that crew of 7 is, or crew of 5, or crew of 3, or crew of, whatever, and who they are. Because there's a lot of people out there that are not worthy to give that advice. So Frank Lopes, I want to let you take that from there.
Look, when you're going to,
more than once, Lopesy, and that's at my own house. I couldn't even get out. You didn't have a hotel room.
Couldn't even run.
I was trapped. We had pie.
Look, so when you're building your crew of 7, there's going to be a lot more eliminating than there is adding. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's just a fact of life, because as you start to look at this, you're going to have to evaluate each and every relationship that you have. And unfortunately, sometimes when you start to peel back the layers, right, of that relationship, one of them winds up being money. And then once you peel that's usually the last layer. Unfortunately, that's the last layer. You peel it back and there's nothing after that. Mm-hmm. So who you take it, what Lisa said about who you take advice from, so important, because you'll start to learn that as you start to listen to this advice and you start to dissect this advice, unfortunately, but it's the truth, a lot of times that advice that they're giving you, it benefits them in some way. Either it benefits them monetarily, the product that they represent or sell will suddenly fix all your problems. It'll make everything better. It'll make everything right. And that's somebody that you got to go and you got to get the red Sharpie and you got to cross them right off.
I have so many people try to give me all these different widgets and stuff to sell more cars, and it's crazy, you know, and they have my best interest at heart, and I get it. Like, you know, if I sell more cars and I'm using their program or using their widget, then it, you know, it benefits me and it benefits them. But to me, I don't need widgets to be me, right? I need me. I need to be a better, you know, person every single day. I need to personify more of what I've been doing the right way every single day, not worry about, you know, what somebody else, you know, is trying to push on you. So yes, be very, very, very careful of who you're taking your advice from. You know, you
I
have
mean, the Bible says to seek wise counsel, right? And there's just so many people out there. And I think that would be the, you know, the number one thing I would tell people is that, well, two things that I want to leave everybody with today before we sign off is the fact that, number one, you've got to find out who that inner circle is. And you've got to know that they don't have an ulterior motive. The only ulterior motive they have is to genuinely pour into you for your success, for your well-being. Number two, you have to start weeding out. I'm kind of in love with this whole new platform I've got, y'all. I can put your posts up. I'm just like having fun over here. You have to weed out the takers in life, because there's so many of you on this feed today, you know, and in the world of social media where people just want to hang on and glom on and get to know, you know, and it's like, who do you trust? Right.
Yeah, I don't mind if people take, as long as they give. Okay. So,
yes.
You know, it doesn't have to be, you have to be this 100% total selfless person, because if you're looking for that, then, you know, you need to be on your knees. You need to be on your knees next to your bed, you know, praying to whoever your God is. That's the only person that's going to be totally selfless. So to me, my mentors, the people I take advice from, they don't have to be totally, you know, 100%, you know, unbiased and selfless. You know, listen, I want to give too, right? If I can help somebody, you know, with my situation, just like, hey, the telethon, right? If I just knew Glenn from, you know, being my neighbor, and like I was never on Facebook, he would never say, hey, can you come on this telethon and try to help us raise, you know, up to $400,000? And, you know, it's not. So, you know, he knows that I have a certain, you know, web, you know, social media presence. So he come on and ask me, and like, I don't mind, because I know that that's not, you know, his main focus is taking from me. His main focus is the greater good, right? So don't take this the wrong way, you know, people. It doesn't have to be somebody that you're, you know, that's totally selfless, that, you know, is not going to benefit from anything that they're telling you, you know, that you have to take advice from. You just got to be careful and make sure that they do have your, you know, your best interest at heart, and, you know, that their best interest is for the greater good, not just for them to, you know, latch on or leech on to you.
Frank Lopes.
You have to look, there's going to be more people. There are going to be more people out there that are going to be opportunists. That's just the way that it is. And that doesn't mean that those are bad people. It just means that that's what their agenda is at that given time. You have to decide whether that person really has your best interest at heart, whether you buy from them or don't buy from them, whether they make money or whether they get opportunities or whatever as a byproduct of your relationship. That's a whole different story. That's fine. But do they give you that advice? Do they provide that help? Do they, you know, are they there for you for that 1 a.m. phone call or whatever, even if there was no way that they could benefit? That's somebody that you put into the crew. And then the most important part of it is that everyone that you have in your crew, you need to make sure that they all feel safe and comfortable to be able to tell you the truth at any given time about anything. And you need to feel comfortable to be able to tell them the truth, that you're not going to get backlash or get thrown out of their crew. If you get thrown out of their crew, you didn't belong there in the first place.
You're in the wrong crew.
The genders didn't work out. But the safety is so important. You need to make sure that the people that you have in your crew, that you make them feel safe and comfortable and loved, that they can tell you anything at any time. And that's not going to bring a whole onslaught of like negative advice and criticism and all that kind of stuff. Once again, if you make that person feel safe and they suddenly start hitting you with everything from the color of your hair to your grass isn't green enough, to it's too hot or too cold in your house. Okay, hey, there's somebody that's got some passive aggressiveness in there. That maybe
brought up hair. Frank has the best hair on the
ever in the history of the world. I'm kind of as we wrap up
I say it every
Santangelo.
time I see Frank, but man, that's the first thing that I see is that man's gorgeous mane. He has a gorgeous mane of hair, doesn't he?
He does.
I strive one day have hair like that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, hey, pretty boys, I'm going to tell you, I love what Anthony Santangelo just said. He said, you have to earn the right to speak into the lives of others. I think that is like the best blanket statement I've seen. So as we kind of wrap up, and start with Frank Crinite, what is the one thing that somebody could do starting today? Let's just say today is January 1st for everybody on this. And today is the day that they want to take the step to start having their best 365 ever. What is the one thing that you would tell these beautiful people that got up this morning to watch?
Stop lying to yourself. For the longest time, I would get in the shower in the morning and stand there and say, today's the day. Today's the day I'm going to start my diet. Today's the day that, I'm going to change the way that I eat. Today's the day I'm going to sign up for the gym. Today's the day. And then, 11 o'clock would roll around and there'd be, 5 free pizzas at the dealership from the new pizza shop, or, one of the reps from one of the banks are bringing in pretzels, and you start eating, right? So I would lie to myself every single morning that I was going to actually start and take action to change my life, right? Until I actually 100% committed that I was going to do it, and then started taking action to do it. I mean, in the last 65 days, I'm down 25 pounds.
Did you have 25 pounds to lose?
Yeah, I was 202 pounds. I was a slob. I looked at myself and I was lying to myself. I said, man, I'm hiding it well. You can't see it. It looks good. I put this t-shirt on and this other shirt and I look fine. And I wasn't healthy, right? It wasn't about just the physical. It was about the mental. I've changed my life in the last 65 days. Just actually 100% taking action and having a plan, right? I'd have a 75 hard plan. So I actually followed a plan and took enough action. I took more action than what the plan actually says. The plan says do 2 workouts a day. I'm doing 3 workouts right now because I don't want to just get to the finish line. I want to actually run through the finish line. I want to keep running after I get through the finish line, not just get to the finish line and pull up and then you go back to being a fat slob, right? That's not what this is about. This is about changing your habits and changing your life. The only way you're going to change your life is to 100% commit and put enough persistence in every single day. So people say, oh, Frank, I need to talk to you for 10 minutes. And, listen, there's no magic pill that's going to make you in shape. There's no magic pill that's going to make you successful. There's no magic pill that's going to make you a better person. You have to put the work in every single minute of every single day, not just every day, right? Your mind has to be so focused and convinced that your mindset is, this is the person that you are. This isn't something that you're just going to do, right? So if this is something that you're just going to do, then you're never going to be successful. This has to be something that you are, right? You have to own, being, one of the top salesmen in the country. You have to own being able to, just get on a Facebook Live and, do a show and, get telethon and get, people to buy into you and donate money. And you have to own being a better version of yourself every single minute of every single day. You have to change your life. The first way to do that, positivity. You're positively going to affect the people around you, not just be this like super annoying, like positive person. You actually have to positively affect the people that are around you, and then all the negative people will go away from you. So, you have to have a plan and you have to convince yourself, and then it has to be a habit. It can't just be something that you do every single day. So that's the way that I did it. It's crazy. If you would ask me, any point in my life, could I stop drinking for 70 some days in a row? I would have said, absolutely not. I need to have a glass of wine, once a weekend, or I need to have a beer when I'm out at the Eagles game yesterday. I had 100 people trying to give me beers and, vodkas and everything. I said, like, listen, I'm good. I'm on this program. I'm doing great. This is who I am right now. This is how I've changed myself, and I'm good. I appreciate it, but I'm having enough fun being me right now because my mental clarity is through the absolute roof. Like it's kind of like the Matrix. I can see things coming at me like, 10 minutes before they actually even come at me right now. My mental clarity is so clear, but you need to commit and you need to actually do it. Don't stand there in the shower and lie to yourself every single day and make this, just this little promise to yourself that today's the day you're actually going to do it, or tomorrow's the day, or Monday's the day.
Because tomorrow never comes.
Now, the time that you change your life. If you really want to change your life, you got to change your life. You can't just say you're going to change it. You can't just write it down and then not do it. You can't just put this goal in front of you and then not take more action that it takes to actually accomplish that goal, that mission, right? I don't even think they're goals anymore. It's a mission. This is my mission, whatever I'm doing, and missions need to be accomplished. So do it. Don't just tell yourself you're going to do it.
Preach, Frank Crinite. Mr. Lopes, give us the one thing.
I'll tell you what that one thing is. That one thing is self-awareness. It's actually being able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I need to work on this. I'm not happy with this. And the best way that I know to do it is, and I challenge everybody to do it because, and I got to put a challenge out there. I can't ask you because if I ask you, you're not going to take me seriously. You're not going to do it. So I have to actually challenge you, and the high achievers will rise to this right now. Okay. So today, I want everyone, I challenge everyone to think to yourself, what do you want your life to look like 7 years from today? What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to feel like? What do you want to feel on your skin? What do you want to smell? What type of temperature do you want to feel on you? Okay, what do you want to see around you? What do you want to hear around you? I want you to think about that all day. And then later on today, you may be able to do this in 5 minutes, which would be great. But at some time before the end of today, I challenge you to write out what I want my life to look like 7 years from now. And when you write it out, I want you to write it in possessive positive. Okay. I am in the best shape ever. I am an award-winning author. I make $1 million a year. Write it all as though as if it is happening right now. Okay. And then I invite you, email it to me, frank@getmorefrank.com, message it to me in Facebook Messenger, right? And then I will help you put that into a plan. Now, I'm just going to warn everybody right now. I've had a lot of people, a lot of students who have done this. This is the first step. A lot of students who have done this, and they've come to the realization that there are so many things in their life right now that are not the way that they want them to be. I have had students call me in tears, sobbing like a 3-year-old, saying that, oh my God, I had no idea how different my life is now as compared to the way I want it to be. That's a great thing because that's self-awareness. You're looking at the way things are, you're realizing they're not the same, and there's nowhere to look but in the mirror for the solution. That's it. Self-awareness, visioning the way you want your life to be 7 years from today, and then putting everything in place, all the steps, even the little baby steps, all the steps in place to be able to get yourself there. It requires commitment. It requires drive. It requires self-awareness. Without a doubt, if you don't realize how bad things are in your life, or things are not the way that you want them to be, they will never, ever change. You have to bring that to yourself right in the front, right in front of your face. So I challenge everybody, think about the way you want your life to be 7 years from today. This works at any age. It works at any stage in life. I have had people that make $10, $15 million a year do this. I have had people that have $10 in their checking account do this. Okay? And it works the exact same way every time. You need to figure out where you want to be, because if you do not, you will drift. And drifting is the absolute worst thing. It's the worst thing that you can do, because when you drift, once in a while, you come out of your driftness and you look in the mirror and you're like, how the hell did I get here?
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, it happened. I think it happened to all three of us.
Don't believe your own press clippings all day.
I think there's people right now that are nodding their head.
Right.
The whole premise of Outwitting the Devil is that the devil says in the book Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, but the devil says the way that I can, the way that I can capture people, the way that, 98% of the world drifts. They're here, they're there, they're not focused. They don't know what they want to be when they grow up, whatever it may be. And that's the way the devil captures you, captures your thoughts, captures your mind, captures your success, your whatever it may be. It's the 2% that don't drift. And so I love what you said, Frank Crinite. I mean, both of you are in that 2%. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this show. I do have to say, Mr. Lundy just sent me a message.
I think he had the times wrong. The time zone's wrong.
He did, but he may be jumping on here to say hi in just a second. The thing I'm going to say about that is that fear is the great paralyzer. It's fear of, I can't get it done. Fear I'm not good enough. Fear I'm going to fail. And I want to tell every one of you out there, you got to do it scared. Because fear is what's going to stop us. We're all afraid. It's the way we're wired. And thank God we are wired for fear. Otherwise, we'd be driving at 200 miles an hour. Yeah. But you've got to do it scared. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You do.
You want to feel the pain. You need to feel the pain. You need to feel the scared. You need to feel uncomfortable. You need to get embarrassed. These are all things that are momentary, that are going to break you through those thresholds in life, that once you get through them, it's just, you keep leveling up. It's like a video game, right? Once you get through that threshold, you can't go back down through that floor. It doesn't usually go back down, right? You just keep going up through the threshold. So if you want to be successful, and it doesn't matter what it is, business, life, your personality, your fitness, whatever it is, you have to feel the pain. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to be embarrassed. Embarrassment doesn't hurt after it's all gone and said.
You have to do it scared, Frank.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Pins and needles. It goes away. And then guess what? You won't be as embarrassed next time it happens, or you won't be embarrassed at all if it happens. You'll be like, listen, who cares about that 3 people over there in the corner laughing about me? They're never going to grow themselves anyway. It doesn't make a difference, right? So yeah. You got to get through those points of pain, those points of, being comfortable to get through the thresholds to be successful. And that's where most people fail. They feel that little bit of resistance, that little bit of being uncomfortable, that little bit of fear of what's everybody going to think if I put myself out there online and somebody finds something out about me, or if I say the wrong thing, or if I don't look, 100% professional. Look, I came right from the gym. I threw my hat on. I came on here. I don't care. It's not, I don't have to personify this picture of perfectness every single day. That wouldn't help anybody. I have to be real to everybody, right? That's where the uncomfortability comes in. Just be a real person to everybody and get through those thresholds. Take down that fake everything everybody wants to see on social media, type thing. Be a real person. And this way you can figure out who you really are, not just trying to be that fake person every single day. Fake people will never succeed. They will get uncovered 100% of the time.
Friends, take this away from today's show, okay? Just one thing. Everything that is good, everything that you want in your life is on the other side of the fear and the hard work and the pain and the sweat and the tears that you have to put in to get it. Everything is there. I promise you. Every single thing that you want is on the other side of the fear, right? But those things that you want, they can't jump over the fear. They can't jump over the hard work and just mysteriously come to you. That's not the way it works. You need to go through it. You need to plow through it. And I guarantee you, every time that you do, when you do it scared, when you face those fears, when you put in the hard work, you're going to get to the other side, and you're going to get there, and you're going to turn around, and you're going to be like, that wasn't so bad.
It was crazy.
That wasn't so bad. And that's going to give you momentum to go and attack another fear, and then another, and then another, and then another. And then one day you're in that spot. You're in the spot that you want to be.
Change. Your whole life will change once you start, just.
That's the secret, people. That is the secret. And let the cat out of the bag. That's it. Get on the other side of the fear. Put in the hard work, attack those fears, run right through them. That's where the good stuff is. Everybody says,
no success in being comfortable. There is zero.
No, you know what happens when you're comfortable? You gain weight. You eat too much. You waste time. You watch cat videos on YouTube. That's what happens when you're comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't like cat videos.
I want to thank both of you this morning for getting up and for sharing with everybody. I think everybody on this feed agrees this was valuable, valuable information from two very, very successful human beings on planet Earth. They're not only successful in business, but they're successful personally. And I'm sorry, your business can be taken away from you from a bad economy, rising interest rates, whatever may happen. But if you are a good human and you are here to invest in planet Earth, and I had the ability to serve next to my two good friends, Frank Crinite and Frank Lopes, this weekend, as we raised over $110,000 for human trafficking. And I'm so inspired by both of you for just being amazing human beings and people, that both of your lives matter. It matters every single day what you say and what you do. And I respect you both immensely. If all of you, and Delco, the Delco group.
I have to plug my charity. I don't care about plugging anything else that I'm doing.
And we're going to let people get to work.
Have to plug my charity, the Delco Group. So, we Delaware County, we are the Delco Group, and 11 guys in the community formed a charity to give back to the local community. So every single dollar that we raise stays in our local community to help children with pediatric cancer, some elderly people. We can do whatever we need to with the funds, but when you actually give to our group, you see 100% of the time where your money's actually going. It just doesn't go to one of these big charities and some CEOs getting, his money. And, you see 100% of the time on social media, we're putting it out there. Every dollar we raise is 100% put back into the local community. And that's my passion right now. That's what I'm trying to, that's all I'm worried about. Actually, that's actually, I'm more passionate about this than I am, helping people buy cars. Sorry, everybody coming in to buy a car today, but this is my passion. It's what fuels me every day. You know why? Because it feels right. And if it feels right, just do it. That's the way. Oh, look at that. That's my buddy Glenn. Glenn.
Look who just showed up to the
time zone's probably a little messed up.
But that's what I love about my man Frank Crinite, man, is it's never about the cars, dude. That's why you sell 100 cars a month, because it's never about the cars. You're all about your passion and people, man. And that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm so sorry I'm late. I could make a million excuses, but you don't have time for one. So good morning. How's everybody doing?
We are great this morning. And I think all of us want to congratulate you. And if you would have been here at the beginning, you would have heard me say that standing on that stage in Nashville, Tennessee, when I was with you, and it just came over me. I didn't even know I was going to say it, that you were born for this, Glenn Lundy. And just the fact that, that God has put you in all of our path for your vision, for hashtag Rise and Grind, for serving, and I watched your show on the replay. You almost had to watch this one on the replay, friend. But people serving people. Yeah, I got you. People serving people, right? And that's what you guys do. And plus, I want to give a shout out to Savannah. Happy birthday, my little niece. All those Lundy babies are just
thank you.
Sweetest. If Oakland ever disappears, don't you worry about it. She's with her Aunt Lisa. But but it's all about people serving people. And, and that's why we all came on today. And so many people on this feed, they were great contributors to the event for Rescue One Global yesterday and the day before. And just give us some final thoughts, Mr. Lundy, because that's all you get, babe, because you just got on. Just saying.
Well, one of my final thoughts is this is some pretty high-powered studio technology you got right here, Lisa.
Do you not love it? I'm obsessed.
Which is really
and
impressive.
Robert Stern, who's on this, I've got to thank him because he helped me do this yesterday. Robert Stern.
Okay, I was going to say I'm really impressed with you because I know sometimes the buttons and the stuff, that's not.
You should be impressed. My hair is done and my makeup is on.
I am impressed by that as well. As far as the event, so like last night I kind of walked around and it was just a little bit surreal. Like, did we just do that? Like, did that just happen? And it really was a testament of how powerful human beings can be if we come together for a cause, right? Like not just for a cause, like as far as for a charity, but if we come together on a single mission, right? When you get 50 52, 54, 56, however many of us there was that were on a single mission. And then you add in hundreds of thousands of people are all around the United States and all around the world that are watching on Facebook, that were commenting, that were pressing the share button, all of that stuff. Like, we were able, in literally 24 hours, we were able to completely change the trajectory and history for Rescue One Global forever. Forever. I talked to Lacey last night after it was all over. She said that her team sat there for an hour and a half just dreaming. They were just like, well, maybe, what can we do with this? And maybe we can do this, and we can do this many houses. We could save this many girls. Maybe we could do it this way. She said she ultimately had to tell her team, like, hey, work's been over for an hour and a half now. Like, go home. I'm tired. I love you guys. But her team didn't even want to go home because they were so excited. And she said, Glenn, we haven't felt this way in a long time. We hadn't felt like we had hope. We felt like we were in these dark corners with all of these evil, bad people, and we felt defeated. She said, we've felt defeated for a really long time, and you guys have given us hope. You've sparked something in us, and now we have the fuel that we need to continue to fight this fight. And that conversation alone just made it's just powerful what human beings can do when we come together. Like, just imagine.
They saw a miracle, Glenn. They saw the miracle that they needed to see. And God used, starting with you, through everybody else, people serving people. And that's what you said today on your show, was people serving people. But it has to start with one, right? It's the power of one. And the thing I've learned over the years with the good Lord above is that he will use one person, but they have to be willing to answer the call.
No doubt.
And you answered the call. And I know that you even got blowback on, I got blowback on it, on the Grow Your Business for God's Sake, the whole brand, the whole conference. People challenged the fact that we were having a business conference in a church.
Sure.
That business conference turned into a global movement that has given, I just have chills. I don't know whether I want to cry right now or just.
That's what this is. This is a movement, right? So this is, Glenn, is somebody that can rally a cause, right? So, social media right now, it's a movement, and you can either use it for your own good, which is, not the way to do things, or you can use it for the greater good, which is what, Glenn, hey, Frank, do you mind coming on? Absolutely not. I didn't even know what it was or what it was about. I said this earlier, Glenn, you call, you ask. You're one of those people in my corner that I just say yes to, and then we'll figure it out, right? So I almost challenged these 52 people that we had.
Has anybody ever tried to say no to Glenn Lundy? Like, how does that work out for you?
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? But I want to actually challenge, like, this group of people, this tribe, to figure out what's next. Okay,
that's right.
100 grand's great, but I feel
not
like
enough.
We're destined for greater things than that, right? $100,000 is awesome, and it's just great thing in 24 hours that we were able to accomplish that. And that was within a day of Glenn asking me, "Can you do this?"
Right.
What happens if we really put our mind to it and really write down a plan and a goal, to actually accomplish, and take enough action to actually accomplish, what the next big thing is. Like, that's what I'm excited about. That's what's fueling me right now. That's what's getting me out of bed, early in the morning, is thinking about what's next. I always say who's next on my posts, but what's next? Like, what's that next challenge? What's that next level of threshold of pain that we can push through, to feel, to grow, everything that we're doing on social media. So that's,
what is next, Glenn? What is next for us? And I actually have it up here, everybody. Donate at facebookaliveathon.com. We are still accepting donations, right, Glenn?
Of course. Absolutely. Yeah.
What is the next thing? What is the next thing that we're going to come together and do as a crew, as a tribe, as,
I think world domination.
Look at Lundy. He already has it figured out. He's killing me right now. He already has the answer.
Well, they're in what area? There's a couple different areas that there's the next thing. So we have the next level evolution for #Rise and Grind. which you guys are going to be a part of, but we can't tell anybody what that is until November 29th, until Black Friday. So that's one of the next level things that we're going to do. But as far as with Rescue One Global, I posted a video in the messenger that we were all in yesterday as soon as we were done, like, hey, let's for me, drink some water, and everyone else have a glass of champagne, and let's celebrate for a moment. Let's do one victory lap. However, we have work to do come tomorrow. There are still millions of people that are currently enslaved. There are millions of young children that are being abused and misused right now. Just on the day we started the Facebook Live-a-thon, they busted 100 people in Cincinnati, Ohio, just an hour from here. 100 people in a sex trafficking ring. One of them was a head of a church. He's a head pastor of a church. So
an ER doctor.
Yes, an ER doctor. So we saved some children with what, Rescue One Global is going to go out and do some powerful things. But now, like Frank said, that's great. Let's celebrate. Rah, rah, rah. And now it's time to really get to work. So I believe that their hardest, the biggest problem for them, did I have another meeting this morning? The biggest problem for them is, I know I'm all over the place. This weekend got me crazy.
Yeah, you haven't been to bed in 26 hours. We are going to give you a hall pass.
This organization has a hard time with media. They have a hard time with marketing. They were not built for that. They were called to go into caves and drag out women. They were called to go to Cambodia and to go to the Philippines and to go into these crazy, dangerous, dark situations and pull out women. That's what God made them for. They're not made for marketing and raising money. That's just not their bid. But we are. We are. And we have a network of connections that we can help them with resources. So Dan Moore's got them hooked up with a TV program. They're doing a thing today on TV. Benitez. Yep. He's gonna hook them up with a couple vans. They need a couple Ford Transit vans, so he's gonna hook them up with that. Liza has committed to helping them in any way humanly possible with her resources. Of course, Michelle McLean's going to help them with graphics and ads and so on and so forth. So what's next is for us to just continue to help them raise awareness using our skill sets, our abilities, and our resources. Now we can make, like Frank said, that's what we put together. What we just did right now was easy, really. It was super, it was hard to keep it all going in the push and the grind, but we did it in 3 days. If you look at it in reality, we did it in 3 days. Well, imagine what we can do over a period of 3 years.
And that's all I'm saying. I don't like taking layups. You know what I mean? What's the hard stuff that we can actually do? That pushes us through and gets us uncomfortable. I like being uncomfortable. So I know I'm a strange bird, but I like being uncomfortable. It doesn't. Comfortability is the worst word in the English language. It's probably not even a word. I think I just made it up, but it's it's the worst word in the world to me. So I like being uncomfortable.
I'm with you. So I think, Lisa, to answer your question, what's next is there's probably 52 of us need to jump on a plane to Cambodia, so we can really see what's going on.
Well, I got to tell you, Glenn, I'm all in for going to Cambodia, but I think we could jump on a plane in Texas, where sex trafficking is such a problem coming in and out of Formula One, or Dallas, Texas, which is the Cowboy Games, and California. We have a problem here in our backyard too.
No doubt.
And all of our children are at risk, and all of our children, for me, grandchildren, for all of you children, are in harm's way, and they're at risk. And I think that we just have to commit, the 52 of us and everybody else who donated and whatever, is to keep the conversation going. And so I just want to thank you for that. We're like going a long time now. So I'm going to tell everybody, share this out, please. Share out this entire conversation, and just know that we are going to keep this conversation going. You can still donate to Rescue One Global, and it's just at www.fbliveathon.com. Every single dollar helps, and because I think that there's a second $300,000 grant for next year if they can get another 100. Is that right, Glenn?
Yeah, they can do it. Basically, they can do it every year for 4 years, but they have to raise 100. They have to raise 100 every time. So every time they raise 100, they'll get an extra 3. It's a $1.2 million grant over 4 years.
Well, and you know, and everyone's like, oh, 400,000, that's great. Well, you know, she showed us, you know, their operating budget's about 650 to 700 grand. So I mean, we only got them halfway to the finish line just on their basic operating budget.
Right.
So we ain't there yet, people. I mean, we did good, and congratulations, but we have to quit patting ourselves on the back, and we need to do more.
That's right.
We need to do more. That's it. And can I talk about the fact that you are the Glenn Lundy? I mean, just
not the
Glenn Lundy. I mean, you get that straight.
Hey, it's my daughter's birthday, and my wife has made some pancake, and I'm sitting here in the driveway.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Think about it, dude. So this little girl's 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
This is who we're saving. This is who Rescue One Global is saving. Isn't that disgusting?
Happy birthday, beautiful.
I think she wants to be saved now with some pancakes.
Yeah. So we are going to release everybody now. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. Thank you, Frank Crinite, Frank Lopes, and the Glenn Lundy for doing what the three of you do best, and that is making the world a better place. And I know everybody has huge takeaways from this show. Share it out. Tell your friends about it. And I will see you next Monday morning at 7 a.m. Central. I don't know who my guest is going to be yet, but this lineup's going to be hard to beat. So I'm going to have to work all week on that. So anyways, gentlemen, I love you guys. Thank you for being you, and thank you for doing all you do.
All right. Love you, Lisa. Take care.
Okay. Bye. And Delco.
See you guys.
Bye.